waves reaching the microphone are changed into impulses of electric current. It's the most tremendous new musical experience you can have.
Hit him with the rhythm in the face, push him way back. Work. Swish it. Yeah.
Stop hitting me.
Make the building collapse, drop the bomb, bomb, bomb. Bring it like that.
Inventions and innovations. And now it's available for everyone.
Everybody from the front to the back now. Bring it back to the swish it. Yeah. Make the building collapse, drop the bomb, bomb, bomb. Bring it like that.
When all the darkness falls around, I'll be your saving way out. And with thunder in the night, we'll put our hands up to the sky. So take the flag and raise it high. Take two arms and fortify. We aren't just anyone, we've only just begun.
You ever get the feeling that everything in America is completely fucked up? You know that feeling that the whole country is like 1 inch away from saying, that's it, forget it.
Alrighty, guys. So, some of you might have seen on Twitter or maybe on your social media today, there was some really interesting things about a mask, right? The mask that we're all supposed to wear. A little bit interesting. Now, I did have some of you, whenever I tweeted this out, asking, if you had a mask laying around that you didn't care to tear apart, if you could, tear it apart for me and see if you have something weird in your mask. Now, I actually got a response from 3 different people. 2 of them were private, so we won't discuss them, but somebody else is pretty active on my Twitter. They went in and they tore their mask apart, and they're like, I don't have anything strange in my mask, so that's good. But, we're going to go over some of this weird stuff today. Many of you probably know by looking at my tweet activity that I don't tend to get on until later in the day. I don't like the phone to literally be like, I don't want to get up to every notification or whatever happens, so I don't look at it till later in the day. And then I get on and I'm seeing this mask being just tweeted out everywhere. Twitter is like my thing. You might be Facebook or Instagram or something else, but pretty active on Twitter, and so I thought that was kind of strange, because we've heard about the bras, they're in purses, they're in a lot of things. An RFID chip is not that crazy to find in an expensive item, right? The bras that they sell at Victoria's Secret or at Pink, they're not very cheap. And yeah, they like to track and trace every single one of those. And from what I understand about an RFID chip is it's not literally going to be able to, well, I don't know, because we all have these phones. I thought about that a little bit harder. It doesn't track and trace until you put something to it, you know, to scan it or to read it. But now that I've thought about the fact that we all have a phone and somewhere around us, right? And a lot of people carry them right on their bodies. I'm thinking there could be something installed into this where they can work hand in hand. Tonight it is a little bit conspiracy. There's some far-fetched stuff going on here. But I did just explain to you that I do understand why they're in some more expensive items. And if you don't feel comfortable with those being in your products, then, you know, find out where it is and take it out. That's no big deal, right? But for such a cheap mask, why would they put one in the mask? And I would like to know what you guys think. Why would there be an RFID chip in your mask? Because you got to think about it. They're being mass produced out of, you know, whether it be China or here, it probably costs less than 2 cents to make the mask. So it's not an expensive item. And I could understand it being on the box that the package moves in, but not inside of every single item sold. That's weird. Sardex's gaming channel says, check out Illuminati recruiting video. It's connected a lot of the dots for me. Okay. Yeshua Lives, you're kind of on point with me. If there are these chips in the mask, now it could be a totally made up video. Let's go over that too. We're going to watch it together here in just a second. Like, we'll go over it. I'm not just going to talk about it and not show it to you guys. It could totally be a fabricated video. I think I have another story pulled up that could be totally fabricated as well. Actually, I need to pull that up really quickly. There's another story that I want to go over. Give me just a second, guys, because I forgot to pull up a certain thing. I just noticed. Scrolling through the Twitter. I shouldn't tweet so much before I get on, right? Oh, man. Hold on. Here it is. Alright, so we'll actually have 2 stories. Now I kind of want to find out I'll put this one here. I don't know. The video talks about it. Yeah, let's get into it. Let's, or at least get into the Twitter video that I saw. Now, before we start anything, while silver prices are still low, let's actually take a look at how low they have gone. How low will you go? It actually looks like we could be at I don't want to speak too soon, but it looks like we could be kind of seeing what looks like it could turn into a bull run. So we'll see how that plays out. Silver's at $23.21, so it's not as volatile as it was, but it's still very, very cheap. A very nice price, and if you feel the needs to get your hands on it, contact Tony over at Wise Wolf Gold and Silver Exchange. He would be happy to help you out, figure out what's right for you, right? Whatever's right for you. Some of you don't want it at all, so I guess don't hit up his line. But if you do, then go ahead and check that out. Now let's get into the weird, strange video. That's all I know how to say about it, is like, okay, it's kind of strange. But the whole thing could be fake. I don't know. You know, there's a lot of... We'll just get into it. I need to make sure my desktop volume is up. That's kind of important for you guys. All right.
Να αυτές εδώ. Όλες, ναι, όλες κάτω.
So I don't know if they're speaking some kind of foreign language. I don't know if they were just trying to pick a random mask or if they picked the mask that they know that they put it in. Totally not sure, but we have our mask. Looks normal.
Okay.
Now this is the weird part. I actually didn't even know that I could download some sort of app on my phone where I could just wave it over something and it would let me know if there was an RFID chip in there. And the next part is pretty strange too. Alright, so let's actually go back just a little bit. Notice whenever he pulls it up and he clicks on whatever his phone did. Now this is the fastest I've actually ever seen any phone be able to pull something up like this. He must be on a 5G network to be zooming fast like that. I'm also really paying attention to the edges and the details of this phone to see if I can tell or not if it's had some video work done, which is very possible. Let's not forget about that kind of thing, guys. I'm not doubting the fact that there could be RFID chips in some of your masks, But I'm also looking at this, and it's possible, you know, it's insane what people can do with video work. It is possible that this is, you know, kind of a made-up video and things have been placed here. I'm not positive.
Σου δείχνει το location σου που είσαι.
Από τη μάσκα.
Από τη μάσκα.
Έτσι πάει και βγάζει.
Σίγουρα.
So somehow somebody just knew to wave their phone over the mask, and now we're gonna dig into the mask.
Πλάκα κάνεις.
Σίγουρα. Που χτύπησε, θυμάσαι.
Ναι, φαίνεται εκεί.
Παιδιά, προσοχή.
Πλάκα κάνεις.
Να το.
All right, so there's your little tiny, it's not super tiny, it's about the size of a button or maybe a quarter if it were really, really flat. There's your RFID chip.
What the...
Καινούργιες
Από αυτές εδώ.
Όλες είναι.
That's weird, isn't it? Here, I'll turn the sound off and just let you watch the whole thing all the way through. So like I said, I don't know if he's just picking out like, hey, you know, we're going through random masks. But apparently this one has the chip in it. Given the fact that there's so much motion going on in this video, I have a feeling that whatever's on that phone is not faked. Now, if there wasn't as much motion, I would say, okay, it's definitely fake. But if somebody did fake this, I'm telling you right now, it took like over 2 weeks to perfect it. So this is really crazy to me. You know, there's lots of things that I can look at and watch and go, okay, there was video work done there. There's Photoshop here. But in this video, I can't find the flaw that would tell that to me. So this seems pretty legit, at least to me, right? Let me get back into my chat and see what you guys are saying. Oh yeah, Richard, Louisville is insane right now. Total conspiracy from Rodrigo. It could be. I mean, I'm not positive. Just to pick whatever random see, what I would want to see is come back and do the same video and show me if they're in all of the masks or in just, you know, every 5, every 10. I'm totally not positive on that. And James Woods is actually the guy that tweeted it out. So I did find an article. Now, what was interesting about this article is I actually have to translate it into English. What was the other? So it was in French, and maybe possibly the video that we saw is possibly out of France or another country where a good bit of them do speak French. So I guess that's why this article was written, but I was able to track down an actual article on it. And a tracking tool. What is the actual use of the RFID chip on some masks? So this is interesting because now they're like, okay, they're not denying the fact that there's RFID chip in some masks, but now they want to tell you what the actual use is. So the RFID chip fitted to many reusable masks and whose function could not be explained by the Director General of Health is not a means of tracking. Or is it? It is used to count the number of washes before discarding the mask, according to C News. See, what I want to know is, if it's used to count the number of washes before discarding of the mask, why is it that I can't actually see the RFID chip on the outside of the mask or somewhere easy to get to? Why did the guy have to rip it all the way open to see that it was there? Right? That's just me questioning this. But if it was for me to know, okay, I've washed this mask 5 times, it's no longer usable, I should just throw it away. I didn't even know that you could wash surgical masks. I figured if you threw that thing in the washing machine or even tried to, you know, kind of wash it gently in the sink, that it would probably just dissolve. Like it's literally made of this paper-like material. So that's kind of interesting. But if that is the reason, tell me why I can't actually see it myself. Why did this guy have to rip it all the way open? I'm not going to rip open my mask to figure out if I need to wash it again or not, right? Or just throw it away. So while the French are still more numerous to fear being tracked by the RFID radio identification chip, an auditor from France Inter, asked a question about the function of this chip to the Director General of Health. The manager known for his press briefings on the progress of the COVID-19 in France kicked in touch. I don't know. Here it says, I can tell you that French fabric masks are excellent. I wear them every day, and they have a much better impact on our environment. We can wash them, reuse them. They are made in France, near your home, and have no integrated chip. I can guarantee that. So, I don't know. I don't know if he's saying this mask is literally made in France or this mask has this chip because it's made outside of France. I can't really tell, but it's weird. It says in reality, RFID type chips are exclusively present in special masks used by the employees of certain companies. They are intended to count the number of washes from 30 to 60 in general before having to dispose of the model. So that's even more interesting. They're special masks that are used by employees of certain companies. I wish I could know what these companies are. Are they making sure that you're not slacking on the job or getting too sleepy? I'm not positive. And then they go on to say, they are intended to count the number of washes. So is there somebody that like collects your mask at the end of the day and they have some sort of technology that like lets them know it connects to maybe a phone or a program in the office that tells them that it's time to dispose of the mask? I'm not sure, because like I said, you have to cut it all the way open to be able to see the chip. That's not helping you or I out. That's not helping out the person that's wearing it in the office or wherever these special masks are for employees. Controlled, carried out by smartphone application. It's not about tracking, according to the company UBI Solutions. People wearing this mask can control the number of washes with a smartphone application. Oh, so it is through a smartphone application. Interesting. CNews indicates that there is no information for the moment on the number of employees who wear this type of masks. These are mainly people working in the industrial world. The data collected makes it possible at the end or the middle of their day to wash the masks all at once in the laundromat. So that's all that this article has to say. It does connect to a smartphone, but what I would like to know is either right now or sometime in the near future, is it possible that there are even Americans out here buying what you think is a normal, regular mask? And is there something pre-installed on our phones that are letting somebody out there know this is all, this is my conspiracy or just something that's roaming through my head. It's not necessarily something that I truly believe, but seeing this, would it not be possible to be able to tell who's wearing a mask, when they're wearing it, these kinds of things? If there was something installed on this phone, obviously it knows that I'm not wearing a mask because there can't be any data collected from here to there. But for those that are, maybe it's saying that's your good citizen that's, totally buying into all of this. And we can push them a little bit further. I'm not positive. I would like to know what you guys think about all of that. I don't know, even if I worked for some company, if I would feel comfortable with wearing that, right? Yeah, I actually mentioned the people about the bras. There's a lot of clothes out, and not just clothes, guys. There's a lot of things out there that come with an RFID chip, because ask some of the truckers, so I know that there's some truckers that follow this channel, or hopefully they follow this channel. They were on the main channel, but a lot of them know, like, there's the rate of crime for this kind of stuff is very, very high. So whenever you can tell that something wasn't dropped off here or there, wherever, maybe even in some of the technology, whenever you go and do your weigh-ins, maybe it can read everything in that car or in your truckload from there. I don't know if the truckers would know that or not, but for some things, it does make sense because theft is so high. But like I said, if you feel uncomfortable with it, or if you know that there's a chip in a certain product, take it out. I've never even been a fan of Victoria's Secret or Pink. You're buying really crappy quality stuff for way too much money, right? And also kind of the idea of sexualizing young women before they should really be at that point is kind of weird and over my head too. So I don't know. If you don't like it, take it out. Or just don't shop there, but don't be surprised if you find it somewhere else. Okay, so here's the next one where I'm not so sure this is real, guys. I'm not positive. I'm sure that you've heard about it, but I'm not positive. Brand of mask. I'm not positive. In that article that I had just read, it did talk about whoever made it, but I don't have great short-term memory, so I don't know. I'm not positive. Let's see what's going on. Clothing with crap on it that absorbs in the skin. Anyone else hear this? All kinds of clothing. Jules, there's lots of, I don't know exactly what you're talking about there, but there's all kinds of chemicals that go into that. Don't you wish it was actually easier to buy, clothing that didn't have all of the chemicals or fire retardants in it? That would be nice, but it's kind of hard to find nowadays. Yeah, Richard, that's what I'm thinking. Richard says, I worked in a major trauma center hospital for 20 years, and all of our surgical masks used in the facility were a one-time use disposable mask. That's what I'm wondering about. Is like, I understand some of the really heavy duty stuff, the kind of stuff that I would use if I was working with heavy chemicals, or even just for like safety and precautions so I don't get a bunch of stuff on my face or breathe the wrong stuff in. Whenever I'm in my battery room and cleaning up the acid off of my batteries, trying to keep them nice, I'll wear an N95 mask, or I'll wear a really, a nicer mask, not a surgical mask. More of that reason is so that way I'm not, splashing battery acid onto my face. But I don't know, I could understand that one because I could probably wash it, but not the surgical masks. Not that kind of stuff. Okay, so this is the next story, guys. This is the next one where this is the only place where I could find this story. No one else is talking about it. There's no sources named. It's something that I could believe in, but I wish that I could see... Hey, Josh. I wish that I could see something that kind of verifies it more. And you guys have probably heard of this. So, this is from Hall Turner Radio Show. Could be totally fabricated. Not positive. It says they've killed God. I can't feel God. My soul is dead. AstraZeneca halts COVID-19 vaccine trials after second volunteer develops neurological problems. If this is true, that's terrible. But like I said, this is the only source for this. So I would love to know, how did you even get that information? It says AstraZeneca revealed details of its large coronavirus vaccine trials on Saturday, the third in a wave of rare disclosures by drug companies under pressure to be more transparent about how they are testing products that are the world's best hope for ending the pandemic. If anybody could find... they said that they revealed these details on vaccine trials on Saturday, in a rare wave of disclosures. If anybody could find exactly where AstraZeneca, someone working for them, said this, or even the person that claims to be, a volunteer for the vaccine trials, I would love to hear that. But I want to let you guys know, this is the only place that this information comes from. I'm not saying that I don't believe that this couldn't happen. Vaccines can have lots of effects on the brain, right? And I don't know what to think about this. I can't necessarily believe in this story because there's not enough evidence for me. The evidence just isn't there. So it says the release comes after a second vaccine test volunteer developed neurological problems. According to sources who claim to be familiar with the vaccine trials, the second volunteer suddenly started saying, "They've killed God. I can't feel God anymore. My soul is dead." This is what someone was saying after the vaccine. If you can find me more information on this, I would love to read it. But right now, this is just hearsay. This whole story could be totally fabricated. Polls are finding Americans increasingly wary of accepting the virus or the coronavirus vaccine, and scientists inside and outside the government are worried that regulators pressured by the president for results before Election Day on November 3rd might release an unproven or unsafe vaccine. The release of these protocols seemed to reflect some public pressure to do so, said Natalie Dean, a biostatistician, an expert in clinical trial design for vaccines at the University of Florida. This is an unprecedented situation, and public confidence is such a huge part of the success of this endeavor. So it just goes on and on about this other stuff, but it doesn't give you anything else about, you know, where this information came from. There's no information on where it came from. AstraZeneca says that he had multiple sclerosis, and it had nothing to do with the vaccine. See, Daniel, I can't believe them whenever they say that because of what's already on vaccine inserts. And AstraZeneca, Johnson & Johnson, Bayer, Monsanto, anybody out there that could be working on making a vaccine, this is the same thing that they say whenever somebody actually develops a side effect that's on the insert. They'll tell you it had nothing to do with us. See, this one I'm flip-floppy on. I totally don't believe in it. He also needs $5,000. The guy who owns this website and radio show, he needs $5,000 a month. So all throughout this, you actually get we need fundraising here. He goes into special notice here. We need money. We need money. We need money. That's the biggest part of this article more than anything is we need money. So isn't that nice? Yes, it is most written. So I don't know. I don't know if I can necessarily believe some of these big companies whenever they say this stuff about their trials, just because the possibility is there. And for them to be so quick to say, whoa, this has nothing to do with us, I always find that a little bit interesting. John Golf says, booyah, let's get this shit rolling. John Golf, aren't you normally on the D Live? Now you're in YouTube chat tonight. That's cool. It's not our fault. Yeah. Oregon Girl, I agree. The story was a little bit fishy. Just a little bit fishy. Okay, so this was kind of interesting, but I guess we'll dive into it. Irish company to test vaccines on volunteers deliberately infected with COVID-19. All right. That sounds like a good way to get a trial rolling. So far, I don't have a problem with it, but whatever. Yeah, that is the reason for the trials, is to get note of all of the side effects. So there you go. You know, we got to make sure that not too many people die. You can have a couple people die or end up with severe side effects, but just not too many. All right, so Irish company hVivo is to run the world's first COVID-19 human challenge trials, in which healthy volunteers are deliberately infected with the coronavirus to assess the effectiveness of experimental vaccines. The UK government-funded studies are expected to begin in January, according to several people involved in the project, which will be announced next week. When exactly was this written up? September 23rd, 2020. All right. So a 24-bed quarantine clinic in Whitechapel, London, has been earmarked for the initial challenge trials. It's run by hVivo, a spin-out from Queen Mary University of London that was brought this year by Dublin-based Open Orphan. Open Orphan? A pharmaceutical research organization that is listed on both the Dublin and London stocks, but it's called Open Orphan? That doesn't give me the right idea about this company. Okay. Imperial College London is the project's academic leader. The researchers, who did not want to comment publicly ahead of the launch, said the trials would play a vital role in narrowing the large field of promising COVID-19 vaccines, likely to move into clinical testing early next year. I mean, I don't know, guys. They're going to give them the vaccine, and then they're going to do everything that they can to try to give them COVID, it sounds like. And either way, they'll probably make the study sound like it went excellent. It's just going to be excellent. Jerusalem Post. So Johnson & Johnson's COVID-19 vaccine enters phase 3 U.S. trials. Because we can all trust Johnson & Johnson, right? What's this little video that they made for us here? I'm sure I need to turn the sound off for it. They had music playing on it. All right, so they've been in their phase 3 trial since July. Whoops. Johnson & Johnson does not expect to have any preliminary results until late November at the earliest. Oh, okay, so here's the big difference. Johnson & Johnson says that they can do it in 1 dose, whereas everyone else is saying, you know, you're going to need 2 or 3, and then you'll probably need more from there. Hey, Christopher. Oh, this is just meh. Are we really going to trust Johnson & Johnson, guys? How many people are still getting paid out from, like, ovarian cancer and stuff? Or, I mean, maybe a couple different kinds of cancer. You really want to trust Johnson & Johnson with this? We can read up a little bit about it. So Johnson & Johnson is beginning a huge final study to try to provide a single-dose COVID-19 vaccine that can protect against the virus. The study, starting Wednesday, will be one of the world's largest coronavirus vaccine studies so far, testing the shot in 60,000 volunteers in the U.S., South Africa, Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, and more. A handful of other vaccines in the U.S., including shots made by Moderna and Pfizer, and others in our other countries are already in the final stage of testing. Hopes are high that answers about at least one candidate being tested in the U.S. could come by year's end, maybe sooner. And that's all that they have for you there. Literally, that's it. I don't really trust any of these companies. But for anybody that wants to put all of their trust into Johnson & Johnson, whoa, because they've messed people up for a long time. What did Farm Girl ask? They try this stuff on really healthy people and they have side effects. So what happens when you give that crap to the rest of the world who are not really healthy? Good question. That's a great question. Because that's generally how this stuff goes. And from what I could see from some of the volunteers that we had in the beginning of this, I was thinking to myself, that's the healthiest person you could find? Yikes. Yeah, it's hard to find good, healthy people here in the US of A. Because we feed our kids chicken fingers and fries, set them up with a Big Mac, and let them eat something really sugary before bed. That's America. Yeah, don't even get me started on that. I don't know, guys. I don't know what to think about the masks. I can't believe in the I can't find God or feel God story anymore because there's only one source and he's absolutely begging for money all the way through the article. I don't know how you could trust Johnson & Johnson or any of these big companies. They don't really care about us. I mean, think about it. Whenever they give you a side effect and you don't link it back to the vaccine, normally they have some other medication that they work on that they can give to you. You know? Like I've said from before, it's from bottle till you're in a coffin. Big Pharma has you wrapped around their finger, or has a lot of people. Hopefully my people in chat are healthy enough not to have to be wrapped around Big Pharma's finger. But it happens to people out there and they don't really know any better, you know? They keep taking different medications and eventually you're 80 years old and take 15 different pills a day. That's insane. There's a lot of money in unhealthy people. Exactly. Oh, John Golf, that's a great point. These companies all have ties to the Nazis. They do. I'm not so sure if they still do today, but there's a lot of companies that have Nazi roots. That is not untrue. That's very truthful. Richard says, I'll pass on these vaccines. Thank you very much. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. All right, guys. Well, I think I've used up enough of my data tonight, so I think that it's time to get on out of here. I'll try to get us some music to jam out to, and hopefully it's not too crappy. Let's see what they give us.
What you're going to hear about today is
No.
nothing short of a miracle.
I don't really want that song. Alright, we can go out on this, I guess. This will work. I like crappy shit. That's good. Okay, guys. Well, I'm gonna get out of here. I will see you tomorrow. Let me know if you find anything else weird or interesting out there. You can always email me or hit me up on Twitter. Good night, guys.
I'll be on.